Dictation. When children are learning phonics, dictation is especially important. Children need to be able to hear a sound and write it down. Dictation can also be used to help children recognize phonics families, which enables them to spell phonically regular words correctly. Dictation might seem rather teacher-centered, but it depends on how it is done. I think the most effective kind of dictation practice is where the children are working things through by trial and error. For example, if the aim is for the children to learn to write the family of words girl, bird, shirt and skirt, this is how I would go about it. I would first dictate without any explanation, and the children would try to write the sound in a notebook or in a game grid. After they have tried, I would write on the board, also without any explanation, and the children would self-correct what they have written. I would then dictate girl. Again, the children would try to write the word, and after they have tried, I would write girl on the board, and they would self-correct what they have written. I would then go through the same process for bird, shirt, and skirt. I wouldn't explain or teach. I want the children to notice the pattern and think things through. This leads to deeper learning than receiving information from me. Building from phonics to words. When children are first learning phonics, there are various kinds of worksheets that help the children see patterns and connections. The children need to construct their ability to write, starting from letters, then moving to combinations of letters, and then moving to words. There needs to be a lot of focus on phonics families, so as to speed up the children's ability to spell words. If children learn to write words one by one, the process is much too slow, and it doesn't enable them to write new words. Simple homework sheets, such as in this example, can help children see connections between words. Words. It is not enough just to do activities where words are grouped in phonics families. There also needs to be a lot of writing practice where words from different phonics families are mixed up. At the most basic stage, the children can write words next to pictures. At first, we can help by showing how many letters there are in the words. It is common to have worksheets where one or more letters in a word are given, and the children just write in one or two letters. I think this is fine as a stepping stone to writing words, but I think it is very important not to be satisfied with this. At every stage of writing, the children need to be able to write complete words, and later complete sentences, on a blank sheet of paper without prompts. Otherwise, they are not ready to move on to the next stage. Crosswords. One of the best ways for children to practice writing words all mixed up together is by using crosswords. Personally, I use crosswords extensively at every stage of writing after the children can write a few words. At first, I use pictures as clues, and later move to simple sentences as clues. Making crosswords is not as difficult as it might seem. I usually make them myself, but there are also crossword generators available on the internet. Making the picture clues can take more time. Word searches. Conventional word searches, where children hunt for words in a grid, need to be adapted in order to be useful for developing writing skills. They are good for reading words, but if the children just write down the words they find, they are just copying. It is better if the children are challenged to think more. For example, if the word search contains adjectives, the children can write down the opposite of words they find. At a basic level, they could write down a different word from the same phonics family. In the example in this slide, The children find a word and then write its plural form. Sentences. As with phonics and words, we need to gradually build the children's ability to write sentences. We can start by providing a framework, as in the example in this slide, and then gradually withdraw the support. As I mentioned earlier, it is essential that at every stage, the children have plenty of practice in writing complete sentences without prompts on blank sheets of paper. There are many other kinds of worksheets that can be used at the sentence level. Probably the most common are ones where children write sentences about pictures. The pictures can either be very clear or challenge the children to think a bit more, as in this example. Instead of looking at pictures and writing sentences, the children can colour pictures and write sentences, or write sentences and draw pictures to illustrate the sentences. It is also important for children to have many opportunities to write personalised sentences. The children can write these sentences quite freely, or they can use worksheets similar to the one in this slide. I would use this kind of worksheet for homework and follow it up in class, where the children would try to write similar sentences on blank sheets of paper. It is always effective to make writing worksheets into puzzles. For example, the children can unscramble sentences or unscramble words and write sentences about them, as in this example. And of course, wherever possible, the children need to write opinions. At a simple level, instead of writing "it's big" about a picture, they can write "I think it's big." When they are ready, instead of just writing "I like pandas," they can write "I like pandas because they are cute." This slide gives an example of the kind of worksheet that can be used. Paragraphs and dialogues. At first, a paragraph is really just a series of connected sentences. My favourite way to introduce the children to writing these kinds of paragraphs is by using a reading passage that is easy to decode and personalise. The children read the sentences in class and then take turns to personalise the sentences orally. For the example in this slide, a child can say, "Hello, I'm Maria. I'm a girl. I'm not a panda. I'm not a window. I'm not an alien," etc. Then each child writes a personalised version of the paragraph in class or for homework. In this way, starting from a phonically regular reading passage, all 4 skills are integrated. They are hearing, speaking, reading and writing, and this leads to deeper learning. The model reading passages can gradually become more difficult. This slide is an example of a passage that is a bit more difficult. In the same way as before, the children read the passage, personalise it orally, and then personalise it in writing. Another way to lead into writing paragraphs is to first provide a framework where the children only write parts of the paragraph. This slide is an example of this kind of approach. As with words and sentences, providing prompts like this is just a stepping stone. The children need to continue to the stage of writing similar kinds of paragraphs without prompts. The same principle applies when writing dialogues. At first, you can provide half of the dialogue, and the children write the other half. And this is a stepping stone to prepare the children for writing complete dialogues. When the children are ready to write complete dialogues, there are various approaches that can be used. They can write dialogues that they have acted out in class. They can look at pictures of scenes and guess what people or animals in the scene might be saying to each other. My personal favourite is to use cartoon strips with blank speech bubbles. This can be quite difficult for the children, but it is a lot of fun when the children are ready to do it. I will introduce more writing activities in the next video.